Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Today we are going to have our 8th session on public administration, and today's our subject will be public management skills. Well, in the last session we had covered the basic concept of the civil service of Pakistan. And the people who join the civil service of Pakistan are basically working as the administrative machinery in a state. And the basic job of an administrative machinery is to work as a bridge between the ruler and the ruled. The ruler, in the context of a modern welfare state, in the context of a state where the government has to formulate the policies and the civil administration has to implement those policies to realize the true fruition of those policies. As far as the public management skills are concerned, that work as a key towards the implementation of those policies formulated by the executives of a country. If we talk about the public management skills, there are two important aspects into it. The first thing is the development and implementation of the public policy. The development and implementation of the public policy. And number two is the delivery of public services through management. So in the first phase, you have to develop and implement a public policy. And when that public policy is executed, then the delivery of the public services through management is realized by the masses, by the public. So there is a close interaction, close relationship between the two concepts. First one is the policy making. The policy making which is made by the government, by the executives of the country, the Prime Minister and his cabinet. And whatever the policies are made by the executives of the government has to be ultimately implemented by the administration. So, if we want to have the true fruition of those public policies, then your management, your administration has to be skilled and capable enough and should be girded up with all of the public management skills to ensure the ultimate outcome of those public policies. Well, over the period of time, this concept of public management skills has become more complex, keeping in mind the transformation of a role of a civil servant in a country. As discussed already, there was a time when the state's function was only that to collect the revenue from the masses and to give security to their people from internal and external threats. This was the concept of the old classical security state. With the passage of time, this concept was transformed from a security state to a welfare state. With the evolution of this concept, with the evolution of this particular thought, the role of administration was multifold. Because previously there were only two functions to be performed by the functionaries of the government. And now with the concept of a modern welfare state, each and every citizen expects almost everything from the government. As I mostly say, right from the birth of the child till the death of a person, in each and every activity, you see public administrators there. So the role of administration was increased to a larger extent. And this particular concept has been further complexed with some of the factors which has made this concept even further complex. Let's discuss some of those factors. The first thing, the impact of austerity. Continuously we are having the scarcity of resources, the unlimited wants and needs. So to bridge that gap between these two things, even your financial management fails, or your financial management is not rescuing you, and ultimately you are going to depend on austerity measures. This concept of austerity has brought a lot of limitations for the public administrators to transform, to develop a state in its true meaning of a modern welfare state. Number two, the effects of globalization. We all know that with the passage of time, this globalization has affected each and every sector of life. And public management is not an exception. So this globalization factor has played its role. Then the potential challenge of the digital technology is another hurdle, is another factor which is making the things even more complex for public administration. The changing organizational boundaries. There was a time when the state functionaries were only concerned with the state functions. Now, this organizational boundaries concept has been enlarged. We are having the public organizations, the private organizations, the non-governmental organizations, and each and every functionary has got its own role. So this changing organizational boundary structure has further created problems for the public administrators. Above challenges have huge complications for the public, for the masses. देखिए, capacity to learn and develop professionally is very important when we are talking of having more public management skills to deal with a particular situation. What are the management skills actually? मैनेजमेंट स्किल्स होती क्या है और उनकी इंपॉर्टेंस क्या है? देखिए, कैपेसिटी टू परफॉर्म एग्जीक्यूटिव ड्यूटीज इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज योर मैनेजमेंट स्किल्स. कैपेसिटी टू परफॉर्म executive duties in an organization, keeping in mind the needs and the wants of the people, is primarily the importance of acquiring more public management skills. You need to avoid crisis situation. You need to go for prompt solution of the problems. You need to learn and practically experience that how you have to come out of a situation being a public administrator. The proposals, it propels a particular organization's mission and vision. अगर आप के पास क्वालिटेटिव पब्लिक मैनेजमेंट स्किल्स हैं तो ये किसी कंपनी का जो मिशन है उसको प्रोपेल करता है, उसके विजन को प्रोपेल करता है, उसके प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग्स को प्रॉम्प्ट कर देता है, क्राइसिस सिचुएशन में आपको रेस्क्यू करता है. वन ऑफ द अमेरिकन सोशल एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल साइकोलॉजिस्ट रॉबर्ट कार्ड्स is of the view that primarily when we talk of the public management skills, these are three types of public management skills. The first thing he says is the technical skills. Technical skills. Your own technical capabilities in a particular area. That is the technical skills. Second one is the conceptual skills. The conceptual skills means your concept of some problem at hand, its analysis, its solution, to predict that problem is your conceptual skills. And the last thing is your human or interpersonal skills. देखिए, primarily when we talk of a public administrator having basic public management skills, we are actually talking about two basic qualities of a person. The personal traits and the interpersonal traits. In shape of personal traits, we are talking of his own technical skills, his own conceptual skills, his own capability, his own intelligence, his own competence. All of these things are the part of his personal skills. Problem solving techniques, his ability to handle the pressure, his ability to motivate the employees, his ability to have a better vision of something, all of these things are his personal capabilities. The second important aspect is the interpersonal skills, interpersonal capabilities. When we talk of the interpersonal capabilities, we actually mean the ability to interact, to work in a team, to motivate your team. So, your primary skills as far as your management skills are concerned can be categorized into three categories, or broadly two categories. Broader two categories, personal skills and interpersonal skills. Our personal traits are interpersonal traits. And if you go in detail, we can say when we talk of the personal traits and personal skills, it's a combination of two things, your technical and conceptual skills. And the other one is your human or interpersonal skills. So all three are very important. Well, the bottom line of that is, the bottom line of this concept that how and why these management skills are important. देखिए, collection of abilities that include the following. Collection of abilities that include the following is basically your management skills. I'm enumerating some of them. First one, your ability to plan. Your planning capability is very important. Your organizing capability that whether you can organize an activity, your staffing activity, say you have been able to plan an organization, then you have been able to make a good organogram of that organization, then you must be bringing qualitative staff on those incumbencies. Your staffing is important. Your decision making, your problem solving ability, your communication skills, we will go in detail of this communication setup. It is known as the blood of organization. No administrative activity is possible without a sound communicative network in our organization. So your delegation capabilities. About management, it is said, the management is all about your delegation of powers. You actually entrust the work to a person who should be doing that. So delegation. Time management. Adaptive leadership. You have to adopt the circumstances. You can't be, if the circumstances are changing, you have to change accordingly. You need to be adapted to the environment. Crisis management capability. And the last one is your leadership traits. All of these things are basically your public management skills. If a person is having these type of capabilities like planning, organizing, staffing, decision making, problem solving ability, good communication, delegation, time management, adaptive behavior, crisis management situation, ability, leadership traits, all of them are actually augmenting a person to be more better public manager. Keep in mind that a manager or a leader must have these capabilities if he or she wants to be better manager, better public manager. The first thing is, he should be knowing how to motivate and encourage his team, her team. He should be having absolute understanding of the concept of communication, how to communicate clearly and listen attentively. You have to communicate clearly, but at the same time you have to listen to your people attentively. You should be trustworthy. You should be resilient, because you are not lost till the time you have lost yourself. So a man who wants to be a good public manager and having good public management skills should be resilient, and he should be thinking critically. I mentioned 5 important aspects of better public management skills. These are the critical things that a manager or a leader must have: the ability to motivate and encourage his people, should be able to communicate clearly and listen attentively, should be trustworthy, should be resilient, and should be thinking critically. Right? According to high flyers, he is of the view that public sector officials must have 7 skills with them. Public sector officials must have 7 skills with them. The first thing, problem solving and critical thinking. Critical thinking. The second thing is that he should be having extraordinary capability of communication. Keep in mind that communication is bloodstream of any of the administrative organization. It's the heart of management. It has got undeniable position in any organization. If there is a breakdown of communicative network in any of the organization, with the best of the infrastructure, with the best of the human resource, with the best of all other ingredients of a good organization, if you have got a broken communicative network, you can't have even the basic functions of an organization. So it is a bloodstream of administrative organizations. It's the heart of management. It has got undeniable position in any organization. When we talk about communication, it is mostly of 2 types. One is known as formal, other is known as informal. जब हम फॉर्मल की बात करते हैं तो फॉर्मल is mostly of 2 types. One is horizontal, other is vertical. Horizontal communication means the communication at the same tier, upper tier, central tier, lower tier, at the same tier. While the vertical communication means from, either top to bottom or bottom to top. So, as far as the types of communication network is concerned, it is either formal or informal. If we talk about the formal one, it's either horizontal or vertical. If it's vertical, it is from top to bottom or bottom to top in the shape of feedback. And once we talk of the informal communication network, it's again of basically 2 types. One is known as clique and other is grapevine. 2 basic concepts. What is clique? Clique is basically some group of people highly connected with each other, having common interests, and they stand together for their own common interest. There is nothing wrong with group dynamics in a public organization or even a private organization. It's a basic human psychology. How we can deny the basic human psychology? Wherever the people would be, they will formulate groups. It's a basic human psyche. But when that clique is dangerous for an organization, when that group transforms into a clique, it can be dangerous because the people in a clique having their own interest and they actually prefer the interest of their group over the interest of organization. Their interests are more important than the interest of the organizations. And if a clique appears in organization, you need to check that immediately. Otherwise, such type of cliques will ultimately become the pressure groups. And because their own interests are more important as compared to the interest of organization, then the organization would be in problem. Well, the other concept is of grapevine. Again, grapevine is a type of concept which comes out because of inadequate and proper information network in the organization. When there is no formal proper channel of information, then the people start making grapevine type of concepts. वो अपने तौर पे जब इंफॉर्मेशन फॉर्मल नहीं मिलती है, प्रॉपर इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं मिलती है, तो वो खुद से प्रोपोगेट करते हैं. जब फॉर्मल इंफॉर्मेशन चैनल ब्रेक होता है तो ग्रेपवाइन खुद से इट जस्ट वर्क्स लाइक ग्रेपवाइन कॉन्सेप्ट इज बेसिकली, इसके नोमेनक्लेचर उसी से लिया गया है कि आप एक बात फैलाते हैं क्योंकि फॉर्मल चैनल से कोई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं आ रही और वो बात आगे से आगे फैलती जाती है बिकॉज फॉर्मल चैनल इज नॉट ईदर वेरीफाइंग दैट और डिनाइंग दैट. तो अगर ग्रेपवाइन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के बेसिक इंटरेस्ट के ऊपर बात करने लग जाए तो यस, इट कैन बी डेंजरस, बट नॉर्मली it is not that detrimental as the client can be. As far as the characteristics of a good communicative network is concerned, then you need to keep in mind the size of loop. It should not be too large. आपको proper controls देने पड़ते हैं. There must be repetitiveness that will improve your message. If something is important, make it repetitive so that your information, your desired information goes to the desired destination. Then you need to have some feedback system. कि जो information आपने एनी चैनल पर दी है उसका कोई feedback आ रहा है. Then you need to kill that gap कि आप इंफॉर्मेशन दे क्या रहे हैं और डेस्टिनेशन पर इंफॉर्मेशन पहुंच क्या रही है. इस गैप को आपने एड्रेस करना. एफिशिएंसी. एक अच्छा कम्युनिकेटिव नेटवर्क वो होता है जिसमें एफिशिएंसी एग्जिस्ट करती है. सो आपका जो कम्युनिकेशन है वो प्राइमरीली, देखिए कम्युनिकेशन के सिलसिले में अगर हम उसकी प्रिंसिपल्स की बात करते हैं या बिफोर गोइंग टू प्रिंसिपल्स वी टॉक अबाउट द प्रोसेस ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. कम्युनिकेशन के प्रोसेस में सबसे पहले एक सेंडर होता है. सेंडर मैसेज सेंड करता है. कैसे? पहले वो इसको एनकोड करता है, एनकोडिंग करता है. एनकोडिंग करके एक मैसेज बनता है. मैसेज रिसीवर के पास जाता है. रिसीवर इसको डिकोड करता है. किसी न किसी मीडियम को यूज किया जाता है. उसके ऊपर फीडबैक आता है और आपके मैसेज के इस प्रोसेस में नॉइज भी हो सकता है which can change the message to some extent. So this is the process of your communicative network. एक सेंडर है, एनकोडिंग करता है, मैसेज ट्रांसफॉर्म होता है, मैसेज ट्रांसमिट होता है, रिसीवर के पास जाता है, डिकोडिंग होती है, किसी मीडियम को यूज किया जाता है, उस पर फीडबैक लेते हैं और अगर उस मैसेज में कोई पार्शियल चेंज आता है बिकॉज ऑफ दिस मीडियम, दैट इज नोन एज नॉइज. अगर हम देखते हैं कि प्रिंसिपल्स क्या हैं, अच्छे कम्युनिकेशन नेटवर्क के प्रिंसिपल्स क्या हैं. These principles are also known as the 7 C's of communication. The 7 C's of communication. The first thing, your communication should be complete. The first thing is completeness. The second thing is conciseness. आपका मैसेज कंसाइज होना चाहिए, not too much words. It should be concise. Number 3, you need to show consideration. I mean, you expect respect for yourself, you give respect to the people to whom your message is going. Consideration. Concreteness. Your message should be concrete. You don't beat about the bush. Your message should be absolutely clear and concrete. The other concept is clarity. And the sixth one, courtesy. And the seventh one, correctness. कि जब आप कम्युनिकेशन करते हैं तो आपको ये 7 फैक्टर्स ध्यान में रखने हैं. योर मैसेज शुड बी कंप्लीट, कंसाइज, यू शुड शो कंसिडरेशन, यू नीड टू send the message with concreteness, you need to send the message with clarity, you need to show courtesy and correctness. और कम्युनिकेशन चैनल्स क्या हो सकते हैं आपके? Primarily, with the modern times, we have got 3 types of channels of communication. The first is visual channel. इसमें आप क्या करते हैं? ऑडियल चैनल, और फिर विजुअल भी देखते हैं, और फिर ऑडियल और विजुअल दोनों. व्हाट इज ऑडियल चैनल? You come face to face, you send something through, you come face to face and talk about, that is the audio channel. You send something in writing, or you are talking otherwise in the shape of audio visual. So there are basically 3 types of channels. या तो आप सिर्फ ऑडियल बात कर रहे हैं, या आप विजुअल देख रहे हैं, या मॉडर्न टाइम में आप ऑडियो विजुअल दोनों कम्युनिकेशन कर सकते हैं. सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द बेसिक थिंग्स अबाउट कम्युनिकेशन. तो हम बात कर रहे थे कि किसी भी पब्लिक मैनेजर के लिए ये इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वो इन बेसिक कैपेबिलिटीज से वाकिफ हो. द फर्स्ट थिंग इज द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग एंड क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग. द सेकंड वाज कम्युनिकेशन. द थर्ड वन इज ability to influence others through your arguments, your capability to argue your point, ability to influence others. Number 4, you need to show respect for your hierarchy. Number 5, you need to be resilient. Number 6, you need to show ability to work with collaboration, with coordination, in a teamwork. And the last thing, you need to show leadership skills. What's the difference between a leader and an administrator or manager? Leader is a person who is able to see something which has to come in future. He has got a vision. और फिर एक अच्छा लीडर क्या करता है, ना सिर्फ कि वो सगेशियस होता है, ना सिर्फ कि वो आने वाली सिचुएशन को रीड करता है, बल्कि whatever he is reading, he is able to transform that reading to his followers. उस विजन को अपने फॉलोअर्स तक पहुंचा सकता है, और उस विजन को अचीव करने के लिए अपने फॉलोअर्स को मोटिवेट करता है, और उन फॉलोअर्स को उस विजन की कंप्लीटनेस के लिए, उसको अचीव करने के लिए उस टास्क पर लगा देता है. सो योर लीडरशिप स्किल्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So in a public management system, but you need to have, you should be having these basic skills: problem solving and critical thinking, your communication ability, your ability to influence the others with your arguments, respect for the hierarchy, your resilience, ability to work in collaboration and leadership. Keep in mind that the list of these skills is not limited. When we talk about the public organizations, the public offices, then the list is too long. We continue to learn about, when we are talking about these skills, you need to have one of the important aspects in the shape of your motivation. How you can motivate your employees, how you can motivate your subordinates. Some of the ingredients I can tell you. Then you need to come up with empowerment of your employees. You need to give them energetic and highly motivated working environment. You need to show appreciation for their good works. You need to support your co-workers. Address their social, psychological, economical problems too. You need to go give rewards and incentives to the people who are working good for the organizations. So this motivation is not something which is totally, in the shape of words. It is absolutely a framework that you empower your subordinates. You create an energetic, highly motivated workplace for them. You show appreciation for their good works. You need to show support to your co-workers. You need to absorb the pressure of within the organization and outside the organization. You need to give rewards and incentives to the people. We talk about problem solving. A good public manager should be having this capability of problem solving. How he can do that? He should demonstrate his resourcefulness. Number 2, he should anticipate the potential issues to come. He should be identifying the factors which can create problems in future. He shall be interpreting the critical data, and he should be troubleshooting the problems very quickly and efficiently. These type of things will ultimately gauge him as having good capability of problem solving capabilities. Next, professionalism. What professionalism is? How he can show that he is a good professional? देखिए, he has to come up with this, that providing exceptional customer service and professional attitude, identifying the diplomatic solutions, exhibiting the strong moral values, showing initiatives, attending professional development trainings, seminars. So he has to show himself as a good professional. We talk of communication, we have discussed it in detail, that how your communication can be, communication capabilities are important. What is important in whole of this scenario is that your motivational skills, your problem resolution skills, your professionalism, your communication skills, your technical skills, which are also known as your personal trait skills, technical skills, Now, this technical skills may influence the people in two different dimensions. One is technical support to the officers and officials working under him or working above him. And the second thing is the technical support to the customers, to the clients. This is what his technical skills should be able to help. Innovations. A good public manager should be able to come up with innovations, developing the innovative solutions to the problems arising on day-to-day basis, identify and draft solutions to the problems, construct research models to test the new product ideas, generating the fresh ideas, and redesigning systems for increased productivity and functionality in the public sector. So these are the important aspects which a good public administrator must have as part of his public management skills. देखिए, your public management skills will ultimately transform the public policy formulated by the executives, exactly transformed in the shape of actions, and its fruition will be there for the general masses. John Quincy Adams कहते हैं कि if your actions inspires others to dream more, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. That if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Another concept says that management is nothing more than motivating your employees, your motivational skills. Management is nothing more than motivating your employees. Stephen Covey कहते हैं कि management is efficiency. Management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. This is where the difference between the management and leadership comes. That management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. मैनेजमेंट क्या है कि आप उस सीढ़ी को कितनी एफिशिएंटली चढ़ जाते हैं, और लीडरशिप किसको कहते हैं? लीडरशिप डिटरमिन्स वेदर द लेडर इज लीनिंग अगेंस्ट द राइट वॉल. क्या वो सीढ़ी उस प्रॉपर सही वाली दीवार के साथ लगी हुई है? दैट इज द जॉब ऑफ लीडरशिप. द विजन, the sagaciousness to preempt the things of future and then to make your followers follow that. Keep in mind that leadership is working with goals and vision. Management is working with objectives. Leadership is working with goals and vision. आपने एक विजन देखा और उसके बाद आपने गोल्स को सेट किया, जबकि मैनेजमेंट इज वर्किंग विद द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. उन गोल्स को हासिल करने के लिए जो आपने शॉर्ट टर्म ऑब्जेक्टिव्स बनाए हैं उसके ऊपर आप काम करते हैं. द फर्स्ट रूल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट इज द डेलीगेशन. डोंट ट्राई टू डू एवरीथिंग योरसेल्फ बिकॉज यू कांट. द फर्स्ट रूल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट इज डेलीगेशन. Don't try to do everything yourself because you can't. So, this theory, this concept of public management skills basically revolves around this basic concept that a state, a government is run through public policies. Public policies, good or bad, is formulated by the public officials, is formulated by the public representatives, by the executives, by the Prime Minister and his cabinet. If those policies are qualitative and your administration is unable to transform those policies on ground, then the true fruit of those policies will not be ultimately delivered to the masses. That is why it is known as that civil administration works as a bridge between the ruler and the ruled. If the policies are capable, but your administrator is lacking the basic management skills, the basic public management skills, those policies cannot be transformed into success. But if the administrator is having good qualitative skills, good qualitative management skills, but the policies formulated are having some basic flaws, your ultimate target will not be achieved. So both of them should work in tandem. At one end, you need to have capable, energetic, potential public representatives, and they should be able to formulate public policies keeping in mind the ultimate problems of masses. But at the same time, your administration should be capable enough, should be having all of these public management skills to transform that into the dreams the people had dreamed of. Thank you so much.